always said that if Brandon Lee was still alive, like, would Keanu Reeves have the career that he has now? Like, cause I talked about this on my Speed review when I talked about Speed. I don't know if I talked about it in my Point Break review, but I definitely talked about it in my Speed review because I always felt like if Brandon Lee didn't die, he would have starred in Speed. I felt like Speed would have been his movie. And maybe Keanu Reeves wouldn't have the career that he has now, because Brandon Lee, to me, always had more charisma and screen presence than Keanu Reeves. Like, even when he was doing those like low budget, like straight to video goddamn action movies, like even when he was doing those, like I always felt like Brandon Lee like had it. I was like, this dude's gonna break out. He's gonna be a fucking superstar. I thought that even as a little kid. Like, you can go back, like even when I go back and look at his movies from the past, I'm like, that dude had it, man. That dude had star power. He had presence. And don't get me wrong, like Keanu Reeves would still be here. I'm not saying like his career would just totally go to shit. He'd still be here, but I don't think he would be as big of a star as he is now. I think Brandon Lee would have been a huge star. Like he probably would have been Neo. Like the Matrix would have been his. Like he would have been in the Matrix. Especially since like he's got that extra thing of him being a real martial artist, and he probably would have been John Wick too. Like those John Wick movies, that would have been Brandon Lee. That would have been Brandon Lee and not Keanu Reeves. Cause there's a whole bunch of like intangibles. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of intangibles that Brandon Lee had that Keanu Reeves doesn't. That he would have been a great John Wick, I think. Especially since like his stunt double in the movie in The Crow was the guy who directed John Wick. So he most definitely would have had that role, and I think he would have killed it. I think he would have been awesome in that role. That's just a what could have been, just thinking out loud about like, and I think about that sometimes, like people like celebrities that passed too soon, and I think about, man, what would they have been doing now? And I think that's what Brandon Lee would have been. Brandon Lee would have been a super fucking popular superstar even to this day, and he